Hey everybody, Why So Wookie here. In this video, we're going to go over a statement released by the PUBG team that goes over issues that have been plaguing the game since November last year. They explain quite a lot of it, quite a lot of the decision making, and I think it's useful, especially for, I know a lot of players are getting frustrated at the minute with stuff that's going on, and I think it's useful to go through and just let them know that they're not abandoning the game. So first of all, they acknowledge that there's been some issues, and then the first major issue that they come to: poor performance in terms of FPS stuttering, freezing, and crashing issues. They say, we've received a lot of feedback regarding performance issues, including FPS drops, stuttering, and crashing. And despite these efforts, we've found that performance issues and crashing have been increasing since the January updates. It goes on to say that the development team is split up into many groups. A lot of them are concentrating on this. It does ask that if you are experiencing these kind of issues, that you capture your experience and send it over to the PUBG support, which can be helpful in terms of ironing out these bugs and seeing what they can do to do it. And that's kind of all they say about that issue at the minute. Obviously, it's a work in progress, that one. The second thing that they talk about is the issues they've been having with servers. So the DdOS attacks against our game servers. Now, I was pretty unaware that this was even a thing on PUBG servers, but it makes sense now that I come to think of it, because for the last good few months, the servers haven't been as good as what they once were. There's been a lot of packet loss. So they just say, as many online games are forced to deal with from time to time, our servers have been the target of intermittent DDoS, distributed denial of service attacks. When a game server is under attack by DDoS attacks, all players who are in the server almost certainly face connection issues, such as network delays, a significant ping increase, which we've all been experiencing, I think, and severe packet loss. Even if your internet's perfectly amazing, you're still going to get these things, unfortunately. Unfortunately, our servers have been increasingly targeted for these attacks. Last November, the intensity of these attacks increased to a level we hadn't experienced before, which increased again in February. So, for some reason, people are targeting PUBG. I suppose this is the way of the world. But they have been trying out solutions. So our dev team has been increasing our DDoS defense solutions, working with various server infrastructure providers and analysing their effectiveness in order to protect our game servers and providing a more stable service. At the same time, we're working on our own defense system specifically designed to protect PUBG's game servers. While testing various DDoS defense solutions from external infrastructure providers, server locations were often located far away from standard server locations, which resulted in increased ping, which we've experienced, and other network issues for some players. Additionally, many players have suffered constant packet loss. I'm personally one of these players. There's always a slight packet loss coming up in red every now and again. Now, a lot of the time, it doesn't feel like it affects the game, but I mean, it must be to a certain level, and sometimes the ping does randomly spike. Issues due to experimental DDoS defense solutions deployed by these providers. We know that we could have been much more open and communicated these reasons with you, but did not want to contaminate test results by letting the attackers know we are doing this testing, which makes sense, because if they say, yeah, we're testing out this new theory, then they'll stop doing it so that they think that it's working, and then as soon as that's done, they'll just start again. So it makes perfect sense. Regardless, our sincere apologies to players who experience ongoing connectivity issues during this time. So yeah, personally from my own experience, I've had a bit of ping going up and down every now and again. But yeah, the packet loss thing was always interesting to know, because it had never done packet loss before. It was only ever been ping. The good news is our recently developed internal solution has reduced the impact of DDoS attacks by nearly 85%. This is and will remain an ongoing issue, but our dev team will also continue to work and implement additional measures to mitigate the impact on DDoS attacks when they occur. DDoS server attacks are a serious crime, and we've been gathering all information we can to take legal action against the perpetrators. Yeah, send them guys to prison, which is fine. So I mean, obviously the server issues that we've been experiencing since November, a lot of it has been ping, a lot of it has been packet loss, but now we know that a lot of this was caused by the servers being moved while they were testing out things, and the DDoS defense solutions from external providers getting tested. but luckily it sounds like things are on the up, as 85% of those have been mitigated now with their own internal solution, and hopefully they can iron it out even further, and as of the next couple of patches we'll start to see real work, being improved on there. So the next thing, arcade team deathmatch making issues. So they actually delayed the team deathmatch for us console players until the 3rd of March. So we won't have experienced this. It'll probably fix by the time we get it. But just for my PC players, Team Deathmatch is PUBG's first arcade game mode, and we've been thrilled to see such a great response so far. Unfortunately, we found some issues with TDM matchmaking that cause players to have extended matchmaking times or sometimes not being matched at all. Additionally, another issue was identified that sometimes caused teams to have more than 8 players, oh that would be funny, with less than 8 on the other team. So I've experienced that kind of funniness in games before. It usually is a rare occurrence, but The team in charge of this mode analysed the cause of these issues, and they were reported and worked to deploy hotfix to issues affecting team size, which is now resolved. So they've found it, they've fixed it, good news. The issue related to matchmaking times currently remain, and while we've improved the situation with some back-end improvements, we're actually working on a permanent solution, okay? So this is an ongoing. And again, it just asks if you are experienced in long matchmaking times in this mode, to send your information, should you have any, over to the PUBG support, because that's just going to help them out. Next up, disabled custom match presets. We've received reports that custom match presets are not functioning properly since the last patch. The issue was an unfortunate side effect of improvements being made to the back-end custom match code. We've taken action to resolve existing saved presets, but it will take time to fix this issue entirely. The good news is that saving and loading new presets now works correctly. Our apologies for those affected by this issue. Unrelated to custom matches, we've resolved other recent issues, such as player stats not being applied properly, inability to create face-it matches, and players falling through the ground at specific locations on Karakin. So I've not experienced any of that myself personally, but it's good to know that they're acknowledging it and they're working on it. And then they just have a bit of a closing statement as well. So we understand there are many other high priority issues impacting gameplay. One of our primary goals this year is to be more transparent with what we've been working on, so we wanted to get this letter out to you to address some of the more noticeable issues we've faced recently. Rest assured we'll continue to work on unresolved issues, and we'll do our best to be more open with details of these moving forward. And then they just say thank you. So what can we take from this? So the biggest thing for me is that it's now in black and white that the PUBG developers aren't ignoring the issues. They acknowledge that they're there, they acknowledge that they're working on them, and they've acknowledged multiple different areas. So obviously for the DdOS attacks, when they were testing that kind of stuff, they couldn't really breach that information because it would have corrupted the results, so I understand that. The FPS stuttering, again, they're taking steps on that one. They're trying to replicate issues and then improve upon that. There's been some custom match stuff, which I don't do many custom matches myself, but I know, especially when you're participating in private tournaments, that's kind of how it's done, so it's important that it works. I partook in a tournament the other week, and that was all in custom matches, so, I mean, if custom matches go down, then you can't really have that kind of environment. And then the arcade stuff, again, we've not had this on console yet, but I know the PC guys have had that, and it's good to notice that they've acknowledged and are starting to fix issues on that right away. But yeah, hopefully they keep the promise and they are much more transparent this year. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video and found this information useful. If you did, consider liking and subscribing to see more. Wookie out.